Hey, hey, hey.
Hi, Ash. You said the intro.
I know, I forgot.
Alright, go on.
And welcome to another episode of Honest to Pod.
Another season.
A
of
new
Honest to Pod.
season of Honest to Pod with me, Ashley McAllister.
And me, Matthew Ali.
And this is...
Episode 61. Yay, we're back at it again.
Yeah.
A few people have messaged asking where we've been, so that's good. Hopefully we've got some people waiting
Yeah.
to hear our wonderful voices, although we're probably both a bit hoarse after this weekend.
Oh my goodness, I'm so hungover today.
Where did you go?
I went to, Simon Jones.
I did.
Yeah, well, I went to his leaving party.
Oh, well, I was supposed to go, but obviously... you may have seen, but I hurt my eye. I didn't hurt my eye in rugby. Someone punched an owl guy, gouged my eye, and so I had this big swollen eye. And then, I don't know if I'd mentioned it, but like my nose, someone thought my nose might be broken. There was so much blood coming out. It was all over my hands, all over my top. It was just like the 30th minute in the game. I played the whole game and I couldn't see out my left eye.
Why did the ref not send you off?
Someone else said that because my nose wouldn't stop bleeding.
That's really bad. He's not supposed to let you play. Especially, you clearly had a banged head. That's clearly a concussion.
Well, I didn't bang my head. Someone punched.
Yeah, but it's also, if it's damaged enough that your eye swole up and your nose is bleeding, that's definitely something wrong, like a concussion. That ref should be...
Well, this ref was so pedantic about everything else. I didn't like him. He was a little bitch. He was really condescending, actually.
Was it?
No, it's not, it's not someone we know. But he well could have been. He sounded like one of the Quains. Fucking hell, the man. He was like, no, you can't do this. And I was like, okay, well. But yeah, and then it was so annoying. So I couldn't see out my left eye. So I spent, oh shit, something's going to happen or something. I stayed on. And then, like, towards the end of the game, it got hit again, my eye. And it was so sore. I kept on slamming the ground because I was so pissed off. Yeah. So I went to hospital. It was not
you guys
too bad.
won?
We won the 62-0.
Amazing.
So that was really, really good.
Ireland won yesterday as well.
1912?
Yeah, I was quite drunk at this point.
Oh, okay. It was a close game, Ireland and Scotland.
It was a good game because both teams played equally shit.
Okay, I didn't watch it yet.
Yeah. And then, did you see the thing of Stuart Hogg?
No.
So Stuart Hogg went to score a try, dropped the ball, but then celebrated like he scored the try, and was like, you clearly know you dropped the ball. And he was like, yes.
He's trying to sell it.
Yes. And then TMO came up and it was like, bloop, bloop.
He dropped it. Like.
He dropped it. Like, not even like, it wasn't even, it wasn't like, the last centimetre. It was like, probably about a foot.
I wonder.
Yes.
No. Well, England just now. England just lost to France.
Oh my god, it was tragic.
England were terrible. Did you watch any of it?
I watched the first 5 minutes and I went for a shower and then I cooked dinner today.
Oh yeah, no. England did not perform out. They were not good, and France were really, really good actually.
I'm worried now. I
Yeah,
don't think France would
honestly.
be coming for us.
They've
But
got loads of young players, and I didn't know this, but they've got a new coaching setup, and apparently they've been working on their defence, and it showed. It reminded me of our game yesterday actually, because we were defending not loads, but a bit on our line, and then we gave loads of pressure, and never conceded a point. And I scored a try with one eye as well. Just going to put it out there, and I possibly broke a nose. So bring it back about me.
Well done, Matt.
So I've got 2 bruises on my eye, one on the top of my eye at the back and one at the bottom, and then I've got a bleed in the cornea of my eye that's spreading across my pupil, and my pupil's overly dilated at the moment, just so you know. But they found a little foreign body. They found a foreign body in my eye, so they don't know what that is, so they're going to leave it.
What sort of weird sex stuff do you get up to?
It's not weird. No judgments here, bitch. They're just regular sex stuff.
Okay.
Although I did want to go to... We're going to go to this festival in Brighton, but it's over London Fetish Week, and I was like, oh my god, it's 90s R&B music festival or Fetish Week, and what am I supposed to do?
Oh my goodness.
Choices.
What a life you lead.
Honestly, it's really good.
But yeah, we've not been recording since, November, I think the last time
it was like second week of December.
Mid-December, yeah. Do you know what? I've enjoyed the 6 weeks off, but I have missed it.
I haven't missed it at all.
Don't lie. No, I have missed it. I've missed it, and I can't remember if you said it on the recording, but we've had loads of people message.
Yeah.
So, it's nice, and loads of people still listened over Christmas. I was checking the analytics and stuff, and loads of people kept listening. We're nearly at 15,000 listeners.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
This is the year, we say it every bit, but this is the year where we can really like pop off if we get our shares and people spread the love.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, what I'm doing at the website, which will be live by the time this episode goes up, is making it easier for people to share our podcast. I have designed little templates that they can download.
Oh, sick.
And then put up on their Instagram stories. And they can, like, it's branded Honest to Pod, and it says, like, there's two options. I'll think of some more, but, like, I listen to Honest to Pod, and there's a wee space for them to write what they think.
Oh, nice.
Isn't it nice?
That's so good.
Yeah, and then there's another one, like, this week's episode of Honest to Pod, and then they can fill out a little opinion.
Beautiful.
Like, I think it's really good.
I think that's great.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously, that's a great way to support the podcast by sharing it. Another way that we're set up is we've now got a Patreon page.
What is a Patreon page, Ashley?
Well, a Patreon page is just a page where people can support us in a more financial way. There's 3 tiers that they can support us in. And this, it depends. And obviously, we know it's cheeky. Would you say cheeky?
I'd say cheeky.
Asking people for money. But it's not like we don't get paid for this. And the money would be going towards things like, I don't know, maybe a studio.
I think so. Equipment.
Yeah.
Some good editing and stuff.
It would be, yeah. Things like that. Because it allows us, it frees up more of our time to focus on making the content better. So you can go to the Patreon page. There's a link on the website at honestpod.com. And there's 3 tiers. You have a basic tier where you could be a basic P. And that is, everything's in dollars, but I've translated it into currency of the UK.
Pounds.
I don't know now if all this Brexit shit. What are we? I don't know. So yeah, there's a basic tier. And there's, I'll say this wrong, but a bougie tier.
A bougie?
Yeah.
How do you spell it? Boogie.
No, I googled it. Bougie. Bougie.
I thought it was Jie. I don't know.
Oh, well, bougie.
Maybe I'm wrong.
So if you want to be that little bit extra and give that little bit more, that's $5, which is about £4.50 or something, if that. And then if you want to be the sugar daddy tier, you are giving us $10 a month.
Oh,
so that's
so affordable.
It's not that much, and I've broken it down in the sense of like $2.20 is $3. That's the price of buying you a coffee, taking you out for coffee once a month. You'd do that for your friend, wouldn't you?
Absolutely.
Yeah. £3.50. I think it's like a non-London pint. So if you didn't live in London and you want to pay £3.80 for a pint,
Wetherspoons.
Yeah.
I like Wetherspoons.
Yeah. You could. That's affordable. $10. That much. You might want to take somebody out for like a coffee and cake. £7.80. Sugar daddies all the way.
Yes.
So you sign up and you become one of our Patreons. And each tier has its own little benefits as well. So go check it out.
Excellent. It sounds like a great deal.
I mean, it sounds too good to be true.
Yeah.
And it's not even just like January sales. It's all the time.
Excellent. I really think people should do that.
100%. And one thing I'd be excited about pushing, and obviously the more people who support us in this manner, we can do things like live things. Like I was thinking maybe we can do a live broadcast.
Especially with the Agony Aunt, Agony Aunt, because some people want to talk about stuff, come in and get involved in stuff. So that'd be really good.
So we could do like a live broadcast.
Oh, that'd be fun.
And somebody else said this to me, and I don't know how I feel about it, but like just going to a pub and getting friends around and doing this live on the stage.
Who said that?
Some guy.
Oh, okay. That'd be quite cute.
Yeah, he said, get used to like performing it live because people will come.
Imagine.
I know. So we'll see. Let's start with a live recording first because we can get naked and stuff.
We're naked now. No one knows.
I'm not naked.
I might need to take this England top off, to be fair.
Yeah, take that off, man.
Fuck's sake.
What a shame. But anyway, yes, welcome back to Honest Pod. Matt, give us a quick rundown of what's been happening over the last 6 weeks.
Ooh, it's been a lot. So the end of the year was really good. Taking some time off over Christmas. Christmas was really quiet at my house. It was so funny. There was so much drama, actually. We don't always normally have that much drama, but we did this time. So on Boxing Day, my mum booked her holiday for next Christmas to Tenerife. She's like, fuck it, I'm done. No more Christmas here. And she wanted to go away for a while. So I've got this Christmas free now. Not with my family and stuff, which would be nice. And I will say this, unfortunately. So I was really looking forward. After the success of last year, I was really looking forward to this year. But then January has not been kind to me, and I've not been kind to myself this month. I must admit, like I've just been lost completely. So I think I'm on the way out of it now, maybe towards now in February, where I just can focus on like enjoying myself. But January was not a cute month, I will say that. So yeah,
January and February are shit months, and just in general. And I'll tell you why. Is it raining? Is it cold? Is it hot? I woke up yesterday and I was sweating, and then my housemates had just come back from South Africa, and they're freezing, so they turn the heating on because it's they're 32
it
degrees,
so hot.
and I'm like, ugh, ugh. Yeah, I just hate February. I just can't wait for March, lighter evenings to come back.
Mm.
You know, even like it's going to snow. It's going to snow in February, so that's watch out floor as I slip and fall, smack my face off the pavement. Oh,
So what have you been up to the last 6 weeks?
well, I got a job, didn't I?
Yay!
I know. Got a job, which is actually really cool. It is, yeah, it's a really cool job. I really like it. I'm there. My contract's now to the end of February. But my old colleague asked me if I wanted to come work on an Adidas thing, which would include leaving in 2 weeks to spend 2 weeks in LA. But I didn't respond quick enough, and somebody else got the job.
Oh no!
I know. Do you know Alex used to come? Alex used to work for me in Iris, and we used to come over to get some coffee for not free, but
were they not free?
they were. I don't know if we should say.
Oh, I don't
know. But yeah, what else is happening? Christmas was really good. I had a really good Christmas. Cooked. I obviously I cook every year. Mickey and Tilly were here last week.
Yes, they were.
Which is nice. We went to massive. I said Game of Thrones, not Game of Thrones. What's the other thing?
CrossFit event.
The other thing I like, CrossFit. It was a massive CrossFit event where the best in the world, and I pretty much made a Matt Fraser documentary on my Netflix.
Oh my god, it's so funny. On your
Why
Instagram.
can't I my Instagram? I literally stopped
just following him. And we spoke about it last week. It was so funny when just as he was about to take his top off, some silly bitch just stood right in front of you for ages.
And you're like, so mad.
Move. I see you moving the phone around trying to get him topless.
Yeah, literally. He was right in front of me. It was the perfect shot. Him sweating away, and he pulls the top up from the waist.
It was like it was made for TV.
Pornographic.
Yeah.
And then the guy who does the commentating in the thing literally walks right and stops in front of my camera, and I can't move anywhere because it's packed, and it was disastrous. Needless to say, he did take it off quite a few times.
We saw it fine. Yeah, everything else was fine.
Yeah,
we saw everything. There's loads.
But
you managed to get a woman in there as well. One woman out of all the many hot men that you've taken your stories of. That was good.
Well,
I know you don't normally like doing that.
Tia Toomey was there. So Claire Toomey is the best female in the world at CrossFit, and she won the games 3 times now, and I got to meet her. I got to say hello, and I was chatting to her for a little bit. Mickey managed to blag his way into the VIP section, so we managed to go in, and she was sat right in front of me cheering on Matt. We're first name basis now, me and Matt. Mickey also got to meet Rich Froning, who's another group legend. He was there. He was super nice. Like you could tell, he stopped and talked to everyone, took pictures, everything. It was super cool. Claire Toomey was nice. Did all that. Matt Fraser wouldn't take any pictures of anyone. In fact, I
probably sells them or something. I reckon.
No, I think he just gets so into the game. Because there was one time where he doesn't even stand close to people for them to ask. I remember one time somebody shouted his name. He looked over and the guy was like, "Camera," and he just turned his head and walked away. But apparently, after he'd won and the whole thing had finished, he stopped and probably spent 3 hours saying hello and chatting and taking pictures and signing to everyone who waited after the event. Which I can get. Sometimes when I'm in the zone. Do you know what I mean?
I don't know, actually. I'm the opposite. So in the middle of a game, when you lot show up sometimes, I'm like, "Hi, girls. Hi, queens." And everyone's like, "You need to focus on the game." And I'm like, "Hello."
Yeah.
Always say.
No, I don't speak. Well, anyway, and do you know what? There's so much. It's been 6 weeks. It's so much to get through, but I can't. Tilly left some amazing shower gel at my house. It's called.
Why are you looking around for it?
I don't know. It was called Unicorn Marshmallow.
It must be Lush or something, isn't it?
No, it's Imperial Leather.
Oh.
Yeah. So if you ever want to know what it's limited edition, so I don't know. Probably flew off their shelves.
Oh, I see. They only sold 100 of these.
Yeah, so they stayed in the ensuite, which is the master suite in our house, and they left the shower gel, and Dave comes down and goes, what's this? I was like, oh, it looks like, what do you mean? It's unicorn marshmallow shower gel, Dave. What's not to get? It actually doesn't smell that nice.
Oh.
No, I thought it'd be sweeter.
Yeah.
No.
I think it would be like sherbety.
No.
Okay.
Do you know what I thought it would be like? Lush do a really sweet, like, sugary range.
I've got one. Got it for Christmas called Snow Fairy.
Yeah.
My brother got it for me.
Yeah.
It's nice. It smells like bubblegum.
Yeah, that's what I thought unicorn marshmallow would smell like. Or come out in like a rainbow puff or...
Well, no, that'd be difficult. A rainbow poof.
Poof. I love that Lush stuff. Too sweet for me. I couldn't wear that all the time. I get that from my sister every year. There's a lemon one. They do a lemon one actually. I'm like, oh. Well, we will wrap up this section now anyway. We've got exciting news. Matt, do you want to tell the exciting news?
Today, we've got our very first guest on Honest to Pod. Yay!
Yeah! So this is somebody who you would have heard mentioned probably, if not every episode, every other episode from day one. So he's your best friend.
Yeah.
And I adore the guy. I used to have a massive crush on him.
So did I.
Yeah.
That's how our relationship started. So we were in love with each other, but I was in a relationship at the time.
Damn it.
Then when I broke up with my boyfriend, and
Uh-oh.
And then once we'd broken up, he was in a relationship.
Yeah.
And then we couldn't really get together. And then eventually, and nothing ever happened between us, but we ended up just being best friends. And now he's like my soulmate.
Yeah.
You know, we're the kind of friends, I'd say different to you and me, I'd say in a way, where, so Jordan and I probably we'll sit there in a room and not speak to each other for about 5 hours. And everything will be perfect, you know.
Yeah.
Just, like, you know, whereas we're the opposite. Like we sit down, and we're like blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
We're more just like, you know, just lie there and cuddle or watch TV and
Yeah.
listen to music and stuff.
I would be too bored.
No, I like doing nothing.
No, maybe I talk too much. Maybe I bring it out of you.
No, it just depends on the right situation.
No, I get
But
it.
yeah, so we've got Jordan, and we'll talk about why he's here in a few moments.
Yeah, well, a few moments for you. We're gonna go meet him, say hello.
Yeah.
But yeah. So grab a snack and come on back. Hey, and we're back.
We should have like little music in between. I was just thinking that.
We do have music in between.
Oh, okay,
We
good.
do put the...
Yeah.
Do you not listen to the podcast?
No, I do. I just thought in between. Anyway,
We do the...
I can't wait to hear it again. I do miss it. The music.
Okay.
Anyway.
Well, like we just said, we're joined with our first ever guest.
Oi!
Somebody who gets a lot of mention on the podcast. Jordan. Hey, Jordan.
Hello.
So Jordan's going to talk about one of his topics, and then he's going to stick around afterwards and go through some Agony Aunt situations. Go ahead, Matt.
So, it's good that Jordan's come here for this first week, and from the 3rd of February, which will be Monday, and today's Thursday, so 9th of February, it's Sexual Abuse and Sexual Violence Awareness Week. And then there's a hashtag that says it's not okay. So sort of alongside like the Me Too movement and things like that, it's talking about those that have been affected by sexual violence and sexual abuse. And Jordan and I have known each other for quite a long time. And it's sort of, I know that you wanted to come here and speak about your own experiences around this and really just kind of just share your story, which I think everybody would love to hear.
Yeah. I think one of the bits of feedback I get quite a lot, I don't know if you get as well, but a lot of people love how we can just make a conversational chat about anything. And a lot of people praise it for us talking so openly about things that are maybe considered taboo or not talked about as much. So I feel like we're honored to have Jordan here and want to focus on his story and help raise awareness and just talk about how it's affected him.
Yeah. Why don't we just start? So, Jordan, tell us about yourself.
Yeah, go on, Jordan.
Where are you from?
Top or bottom? Oh,
Depends on the time of year.
oh, okay. It's quite hot.
The
today,
winter.
yeah.
Yeah. Winter, I need a lot of warmth. So I'm from Brighton originally. I've been in London for the last 15 years.
Oh my goodness. You moved here when you were 12.
I know, right?
Really nice. Joking, Jordan's really old.
But also like a fine wine.
Aged and broken with little bits in it.
No. Ages nicely.
So do you
Gets better
have
with age.
any brothers or sisters, things like that?
Yeah, so I'm one of 5 kids. I've got 3 brothers, 1 sister, and then on top of that, I've got 2 stepsisters as well.
2
So
stepsisters?
Yeah, Amanda and Emma.
Oh,
Les's
I didn't know
daughters.
Ah, okay.
So I've got quite a big family, mainly originally from Ireland,
Yes.
which is why we got
You
such
must
a
be
big
so happy
family.
about the rugby yesterday.
Yeah, no, that was good actually.
Yeah.
That was really good. Although I missed the end of it.
Did you play yesterday? I asked
I
you
only did for like 20 minutes.
Oh,
My
'cause you got
asthma's-
asthma, you said.
Yeah, my asthma's quite bad at the moment.
Why? Are you smoking a lot?
No, I haven't been. It's just, this time of year, it's just changed the seasons to get to my chest.
We were just saying, actually, because I thought it was going to get warmer, although we don't know what the weather's going to be like, but it's supposed to snow soon, and I don't want that to happen at all.
Last year it snowed in April.
April?
Yeah.
Is it?
It's with the beast.
No, you weren't here. Yeah. Looking.
I'm sure
It's
the
snowing,
Beast
isn't it?
Beast was in April time.
Okay. No, I don't want it to
Because it
snow.
snowed, went really hot, and then it snowed again.
I just bought a really lovely kimono for the spring, and I really want to start wearing it soon, so I really hope it gets warm. It's really nice.
Okay.
Yeah. So tell us what you do for work.
So I'm a mortgage broker. So if you do need a mortgage, you can hit me up. So I'm self-employed, and I started that a couple of years ago. Before that, I was working for a big corporate. So it's had a big change of lifestyle and work-wise,
Yeah.
which has been really nice, really positive. And it's just nice working for myself and not have to be a corporate monkey anymore.
Being your own boss as well is so nice.
It really is.
So much flexibility.
It is.
Do you find yourself less stressed?
No, because I'm quite like with work. I really like to do work well. So if I have an email and I haven't replied back in an hour, it stresses me out.
Okay.
And I can't go home until all my emails are done.
Oh.
So I get quite stressed out of it.
That's good, though. I know that you've always taken your customer relations really, really important.
I'm quite geeky with it.
Yeah. You take
Mm.
care of them and make sure that actually they're looked after, and you take it really personally if things don't necessarily work out the way that you planned originally.
Yeah, which is unusual because I kind of normally always get my way.
And I'd say for me personally, Jordan's been one of the biggest reasons for the change of last year because I hope you don't mind me saying, but we both like to start speaking more about how we feel. Last year was really important for me to do that, and you were definitely one of my main people to go to when I wanted to speak about my feelings and open up a bit more. And, how are you in terms of opening up and speaking nowadays, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really had too much of an issue with that, to be honest. Like, I've always been quite an open book. I can talk about things just on the surface, but when it gets in quite deep and personal, I'm not too sure how I feel. So that's how I sometimes struggle to get out how much you're feeling. So I'm not really too sure myself.
What do you normally do when that happens?
Get drunk.
Okay. Yeah.
Embarrass myself. But yeah, I struggled with it a lot. But speaking of Hillary, we was talking on a weekly basis for just over a year.
Who's Hillary?
Hillary is our therapist.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, you guys share therapists?
Well, Jordan was the one that had referred me to her because, well, one, it was price actually. We do it on Skype instead of in person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so in terms of going around, it's really easy I think around your lifestyle, right?
It really is. And you think seeing someone over Skype rather than in person is a lot less personal, but actually it's exactly the same as seeing her in person. But I think I started off seeing her. I had 3 sessions face to face because I was living down in Eastbourne for the summer last year, or the year before, and and so she was local to there. But then I moved over to Skype because I moved back up to London, and it made no difference whatsoever.
That's really good.
And she was cheaper because she's based down in Eastbourne.
Oh,
So,
handy.
yeah.
Was there a particular reason why you started speaking to Hillary?
Yeah, so I was so I went through a court case on from being sexually abused over 20 years ago, and I wanted to go through some therapy to try and get me ready for it.
Okay.
And so I went through some therapy that was given by the corporate that I was working for, just off the private healthcare. But they put me into a psychiatrist because the stuff that I wanted to talk about was quite deep. And they put me through this therapy called EMDR, which is the best way to describe it is, Game of Thrones
Yes.
and Bran, how he goes in and he sees Jon Snow being born. And you can kind of go in and see people of how it was in the past.
Yeah, yeah.
So a lot of it was I'd kind of go into a semi-hypnotized state, and I could see myself as a young child.
Oh wow!
Did you actually see that? Like, did that happen?
Yeah.
Wow.
So then it brought. I could feel everything I felt as a kid. So all my insecurities and all my fears, I felt all those emotions.
Oh wow!
But the sessions didn't go on long enough. So when they finished, I was left with all those kind of fears and insecurities, and it really affected me emotionally, which is why I chose to go on to pay for therapy myself and have it over a long period of time rather than a short period.
So what was that therapy called? What type of
EMDR?
EMDR.
It's quite intense therapy because you, as I say, you go back and you can see yourself and you can feel all those kind of like emotions and so on. And it's quite heartbreaking as well because you see yourself when myself as a child, I was quite a traumatized child from a young age, and I forgot about all the emotions and all the fears that I had because it was such a long time ago.
Yeah.
So to actually feel them and see yourself and know it's you as an individual,
yep,
was quite. It hit me quite a bit.
I can imagine. I'd be actually quite frightened about that.
Yeah,
one of those things.
Sounds very overwhelming.
It did, and it's and actually it was a good thing, but it just finished too early because there was quite a few other scenarios that I went through in the therapy, but that particular one kind of just resonated with me, and I couldn't drift off those kind of insecurities that I felt as a kid, and they just all come flooding back, and I just couldn't get rid of them.
What were some of those feelings? Are you able to describe them?
Yeah, so a lot of them is to do with rejection. I didn't have a great relationship with my dad, and growing up as a kid, I grew up in quite an abusive household. So my dad was an alcoholic, and he used to come home most evenings, and he took quite a dislike to me, but was really idolised my older brother, and he idolised my sister as well. So he would come home each night and attack me and my mum. So a lot of the time I lived with my nan to try and keep me out of that situation. So I felt quite rejected, and I was always trying to fight for attention and trying to fight to feel like I was loved. Like to give like a few examples of what I mean. Like, so I remember my dad used to be a football manager, and he'd go out every Saturday, and he'd always take my brother with him to go and like watch his team play. And then I'd want to go, but I wouldn't be allowed to because he wouldn't want me to go. And then I'd start crying and cause mayhem, and then my mum and dad would have an argument. He'd say, okay, then he can come. So I'd like run inside, put my shoes on, run out, and they'd be like, drive off down the road, just waving bye. But it wasn't just as a child, it was kind of going into my teens as well. Like my brother went to go and work in the Falkland Islands when he was 18, so I must have been about 15. And for the first time ever, my dad kind of started paying me attention. He started taking me out to the pub with him, playing pool and so on. But then as soon as my brother came back, I was kind of like just dropped again. So there's always like those kind of feelings of just not being wanted or not being accepted, not being good enough of who you are. There was a lot of those kind of feelings that I had. But a lot of it as well was I was quite petrified as a kid because my dad was quite scary. Like, where he'd come home drunk every night, and he has a lot of anger in his face and a lot of anger in his eyes as well. And he's a bit of a nut job as well. He's quite crazy. He had a reputation for being quite crazy as well. He would, like, when I went to school, I couldn't speak. So I didn't learn to speak until I was about 6, I don't think.
I remember you saying.
So I had to have speech therapy lessons. And then, even stuff like I used to go at the bed till I was about 11 because I used to be such a petrified child. So I was quite traumatised as a child.
And then you mentioned the reason why you started going to therapy was this court case you were talking about. Can you tell us a bit about what happened then?
Yeah, so I was quite vulnerable as a child. Obviously, to do with my upbringing, and I gained a new friend at school, and the friend's dad, their lifestyle seemed completely different to mine. Kind of, mum and dad seemed really tight. It's like brother and sister, and my friend idolised his dad, and I started going to his house more and kind of introduced his family and staying over sleepovers and so on. We used to go to his dad's work quite a bit. His dad used to work for the Brighton Hood Council. I don't know what exactly he used to do, but we used to be there. He used to be there overnight, and his office was like a little cabin just on where all the trucks and stuff were parked. We used to go there and play pool, play badminton. But then he also used to let me smoke, give me money. Then he also taught me how to drive.
How old were you?
12. So but driving around the council depot. So I didn't obviously realise at the time, but he was grooming me and taking advantage of me, because I kind of saw him as a father figure, and actually he was everything I wanted in a dad that I didn't have. And he was obviously just do all these little things to try and make me come back to go and see him, and just pay me a lot of attention, which obviously I wasn't receiving. And then he used to play fight with us a lot, and the play fighting used to turn into inappropriate touching.
Both you and
not so much with my friends so much, but obviously more with me. And then he started kind of inviting me over by myself as well, which I can't remember whether my friend knew about that or not, or how it would have come about in the first place. But yeah, I think I just enjoyed being around him so much, and he was just giving me a love and affection that I kind of always desired. But then he took advantage of that situation, and then started to get me to do sexual things towards him, which I never wanted to do, but I also wanted that love at the same time.
Yeah.
So it was quite confusing. Like, I felt like I was in a relationship with him, which is crazy when I look back now. So yeah, that's how it all started, and it's one thing led to another, and then the abuse just continued for about a year.
How did it start?
Mainly from play fighting. How did it stop?
Stop.
Because something clicked to me that it wasn't right, and it fucked my head up so much. I didn't know what to think or what to do with it. Because it's like I say, he didn't force me to go there, and it's not like he kind of held me down. But that's part of the grooming process, is that you make the person feel that they love you, and you kind of suck them in that way.
Yeah.
But I always kind of knew that it wasn't right. But I was a very young and confused kid.
Did you tell anyone?
I did.
Who did you tell?
The first person that I asked was my friend, because I wanted to understand whether his dad did it with him or not. I remember we was kind of sitting over the fields near where I lived, and he said no, nothing ever happened, and it didn't. He's never done that before, and I was trying to understand, like, is this, if it was a normal thing that actually happens, like, is this what an actual father-son relationship really is? Like, I didn't really.
You had nothing to relate it to, so.
No, exactly, and it's not like I had kind of the most stable together of upbringing, so it was quite difficult to try and piece together. And then I also confided in one other friend, but then within a week it got around the whole school, so then everybody knew about it, and even down to teachers, other people, other kids' mums and dads. So then I was kind of seen as the weirdo at school that goes around sucking people's dads off, which wasn't nice.
No.
And then you walk down the corridor and you're like, oh, quick.
And you were 13?
12, I think it's 12, 13, around that age. And then you'd walk around the corridor and you'd be like, oh, bums to the wall, Jordan's coming. So it kind of, it made my school life, like, school was kind of an escape to get away from home.
Yeah.
And then I kind of, at that point, I literally had no escape option. And I didn't want to be at school. I absolutely hated school.
Mm.
And it was, so I did everything I could to try and get myself kind of sent out of lessons. So I get sent to this work centre where you're kind of sent for being naughty, but you're kind of by yourself. But at the same time, I lost all my friends at school as well. So then all my friends just ended up being just kind of girlfriends at school. But it was always talked about, and it was always kind of I felt that everyone was always talking about it.
Did the teachers or nobody do anything or?
So my I fell out with one of my friends, the one I confided in actually, and it wasn't about that. I can't remember what it was about actually. But I really upset him, so he went home crying, and his mum called up my mum, and then she mentioned what she heard from him as well about the abuse. So my mum sat me down and talked to me about it, and she also went to the school, but she couldn't speak to the headmaster because she didn't know what to do about it, because the guy at the abuse he's also a policeman as well. And the background we come from is we also come from a council estate as well, and my dad was claiming benefits.
Right.
And he turned around and said to her that you wouldn't have a strong enough case. Like, he's a high pillar of the community, and kind of like with your background, it's not going to work. So the best thing you can probably do is just print out some posters and put them around his area.
Fuck.
And that was a headmaster of a Catholic school, and it's kind of one of the best schools in Brighton as well.
Fuck.
But at the time as well, my mum was going through a lot of mental and physical abuse from my dad, and she's really mentally unwell at the time. And I don't think she really knew or understood what to do with that as well. But she went to try and arrange counselling for me. I went to the chaplain at school, and I didn't know why I was seeing the chaplain, so I was just put in front of the chaplain as to talk about things. And when I finally opened up about it, she told me to stop. I wasn't allowed to talk to her about that, otherwise she'd have to get social services involved. So I was like, well, I don't want to be taken away from my mum.
Yeah.
So then she arranged for me to have outside counselling. It's really weird because they didn't even see if it's okay to take me outside of school, but they took me to a counsellor down in Hove.
In that moment you're talking about?
Yeah, after that. So a week or two later, we went to a place called YAC, which is the Youth Advice Centre. And it was the most awkward experience in my life of therapy, because I sat there and she just stared at me, just waiting for me to talk. And I was just kind of like, this is horrendous. Yeah. It was just, so I think I went to that one session and just never went back. It was the worst experience ever. So yeah, everyone knew, but nothing was actually done. There was no support element for me so his parents knew, school knew, everybody knew, but there was nothing was ever actually done about it.
Do you know if it happened to anybody else?
So the reason that I finally went to and did something about it is because when we was away in Brussels for our Union Cup rugby tournament, one of my other school friends messaged me an article from the local paper saying, is this our friend's dad? And he was he's just been not charged, like
arrested? Convicted
of molesting some other guy, which actually turned out to be his nephew, one of his nephews, like step nephews or something. And at that moment then, I felt the most horrendous amount of guilt come through me, because I haven't done anything. I've allowed it to happen to somebody else, which I've had quite a few people keep telling me it's not my fault, but I can't get rid of that amount of guilt that I have, that I've allowed it to happen to someone else. So, and then when we was going through the court case, I kind of saw the police guy that dealt with it in Brighton. His name was in the paper, so I contacted him because I wanted to make sure that I wanted to add on more time so he never gets out and he doesn't have the opportunity to do it to somebody else, because I hope happens to extend his sentence. And when he was going through the trial with my case, after he stopped working for the council, he started working at an arcade, like a kids arcade.
Wow.
And he also, there was one other guy that tried to put a case together against him, but he was too much of an emotional mess and he was too mentally fucked up to deal with it. So the CPS said that the Crown Prosecution Service said he wouldn't be strong enough to be able to deal with it. And then there was one other guy who was who's mute, so he is like deaf and just very backwards, and just very he was 17, but he was more kind of like a 12-year-old. But because he was 17, it was illegal, and his case couldn't be taken forward.
Wow.
Which that one also gets me as well, and I feel responsible for these other people. It's something that I really struggle to deal with.
Still at this point, you say?
Yeah, I think it always will be as well. It's kind of, I just feel like I just have to come to terms with living with that side of it.
Okay. So what's happened after the court case now so far?
So after the court case, he got convicted again, and his sentence got added on top of his existing sentence. So it's not going to be kind of run along parallel. So it's extended. So, but I mean, luckily he has cancer as well, apparently. So he definitely won't ever get out. But I also just wanted to raise more awareness as well of the reason. One of the other reasons we did it is because I wanted to raise more awareness of him, because I'm sure I honestly don't think I was the first person, and
probably weren't.
He was too good at what he did. He was very natural, and he's just very experienced of what he's able to do.
Yeah.
But there was apparently one other guy as well, but I think the case went to court, but there wasn't enough evidence.
It's madness. I don't understand how the court system works.
Because he went back to work at the same place as well. And it's it's madness. But then I suppose if there's not enough evidence to convict someone, there's not enough evidence. You know what the crazy thing is, actually, on my court, the day it was supposed to be in court, it got delayed because one of the people on the jury was one of my school teachers at school, and because they knew me and they heard about it, they had to be taken off and they had to find another juror. And it just goes to show, even school teachers, everybody knew, but there was no support mechanism around her background. And it's a lot of people say to me that I didn't have the support when I was younger to be able to do anything about it. But I still feel responsible, and it's down to me that it's that I didn't at least try, and because I hadn't tried, it's happened to other people.
Well, I think you did quite a lot, for a 13-year-old to go forward and speak to two friends, for that then to be twisted around on you like that, and people, authoritative figures knew, teachers knew. It sounds like it goes back to obviously this Me Too movement came a couple of years ago, but a lot of the old stories come about. It's people in power. This guy sounds like he was considered a pillar of the community. It's sort of I'm not saying there's not much more you could have done, but it sounds like you were, anywhere you went, there's been a brick wall. And obviously the whole movement's sort of highlighted these problems, and thankfully there's more stuff happening about it now. But
the Me Too movement over the last couple of years has been phenomenal.
When did the Me Too movement kick off?
I think
2016.
Was it 2016?
Yeah.
And then Brussels was 2015?
I have no idea what the date was.
I think it was 15. No, it must have been
16.
16.
No, 16 was we went to America.
Nashville.
Yeah.
So Me Too was October 15th, 2017.
Okay.
Yeah. And then it went on from there. How did that affect you, or the whole movement? Do you think that spurred you to want to do something about this, or?
No, because I only really heard of the Me Too movement, in all honesty, over the last couple of years. The thing that spurred me on was because for the first, because I know this sounds really crazy, but I've always felt like I've had a kind of affection towards him after all these years.
Even afterwards, so you've grown up as an adult, lived your life.
Yeah, and my thing is and the things that stopped me when I was younger as well was that I didn't want to hurt my friend and his sister and their mum and put them through it as well. It's I felt like it was a lot of responsibility to take on for myself.
I find it quite interesting, just because I know you as a person, and I would consider you one of the most not sensitive, but considerate of others. You're very caring for other people's well-being and stuff. You're constantly thinking of me whenever you're out in your general life. And I think, it'd be interesting that was a result of what's happened, or do you think it's your natural inclination? And that is why maybe you felt that you didn't want to hurt other people when really it's nothing about them, essentially, in a way.
I think it has some part to do with it. Then I think as I was growing up, I was my mum's rock. I've always looked after my mum rather than the other way around. So I've always had to care for my mum, and I enjoy caring for people as well and looking after people. It kind of gives me that purpose in life, to a degree, which is why, like, my current relationships worked for so long is because I like caring for them and they like being looked after.
We would have worked out perfectly together. I said before you came because we were like, oh, you're going to be on. And then I was like, Ashley was like, oh, he really fancied you. And I fancied you loads as well. And I said, obviously, like, we kind of like never like, nothing ever happened between us because of like a situation, which is a good thing for us. But yeah, we could definitely have been like soulmates. I love being taken care of.
The Me Too movement, though, it's how the Michael Jackson documentary helped me personally quite a bit. So on the first episode, I felt quite boring with it. I didn't really buy into it that much. But on the second episode, when they were talking about how it's affected them and how they feel, I was really able to relate to it. And I was like, you know what, 100% these guys are telling the truth. Like, I know that they can read up and they can look through what other people have said in the past and how the effects have had on other people, but just watching them the way that they were talking about it, I could relate so much to it. So the stuff like one part is I've never understood why I hate myself so much, and I don't like myself as a person, and I feel like I'm a bad person, and I don't understand what anyone sees in me or why anyone wants to be with me. And for the first time ever from watching the Michael Jackson documentary, it helped me understand a lot about myself, which is why I was kind of keen to do this as well.
Yeah.
Because it's the more it's spoken about and more it's discussed, it's people feel, well, it's helped me, so I want to be able to help. If I can just help one other person understand more about themselves or think that actually it's okay to talk about it, or actually hopefully make them want to do something about it if they haven't in the past, then I feel like my job's done with it.
I mean,
I've done a good job with it.
That's what's really important. I guess there's two elements. One is, making sure that the individuals that are abusing their power and others are really found out, and the more people speak up, the more that those individuals are highlighted. But the other part of it is looking after yourself, and making sure that you're able to reconcile like your feelings, try and come to an understanding of certain areas, so that you can start dealing with them. As scary as and horrible as it might be to deal with all of those feelings that you have coming out.
Yeah, no, definitely, because it does have a massive effect on people, and when you kind of read more stories about different people, it's kind of a lot of people. Although people's stories are completely different, a lot of the feelings and a lot of reactions are all very similar.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember when I was originally waiting to go to trial, the football, actually the year before the football one came out, with a lot of the football managers, and I
forgot about that.
Yeah,
it's mad.
So I remember sitting in, because I used to sit in a boardroom, and I used to have like a massive, like a big plasma screen TV thing, so she used to watch the news every day on TV rather than work. And it was interesting to hear it as well from that side, from a lot of the footballers have really bad relationships with alcohol and drinking, which I do as well. It's I have a really bad relationship with alcohol, which is it's under control more than what it's ever been, but it can sometimes spiral out of control.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to hear people's stories, and actually hearing that there are other people out there like me, and I'm not the only one.
How are you feeling nowadays? Because I feel like we've known each other for 7-8 years maybe, and there's, as adults, and hopefully we're growing and stuff, but I feel like there's quite a significant change in how you behave, the way that you carry yourself, and actually, hopefully, which I still don't know deep down, how you feel about yourself.
Yeah, so for the first time ever, I'm starting to feel more content with myself, and actually starting to like myself and make myself. I'm actually realising that actually I'm not such a bad person as what I think that I am. And again, that was from watching the Michael Jackson documentary to help me understand why I feel like I'm a bad person. And also the therapy with Hillary as well. I'm fortunate enough that I'm able to pay for it myself, because when you're not that fortunate and you have to go through, say, NHS, the 12 sessions that you get from NHS is just not. It's not enough.
No.
It's like with the therapy you've had. Do you think that if you just had 12 sessions, you'd come as far as what you can't?
Not even close. Like I needed to have it every single week. I needed to go through this like arc of facing all of those feelings and actually feeling kind of shit to be able to then break through all of those individual bits and really try and understand, heal, all those sorts of things. There's no way. And they're a lot separate in NHS. You don't get them in succession. I feel like you have to wait a little bit of time before you start.
I mean, I had it a couple of times, but then you sometimes have to wait 3 or 6 months before you start. But then you only get 12 sessions.
Yeah.
And you're only just opening things up in those amount of sessions. And actually, I mean, what happened for me from when I had that MDR was it was good to open it up, but it opened up and it left it so open, it was just insane.
Yeah, absolutely. It took me 4 months. I started in November and I wasn't happy, or the change didn't really happen until March, where I really felt the positive effects of like having therapy.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I've stopped the therapy now. I stopped it in November, but I felt like I was at the point, and what was good with Haley as well, she brought it up because I felt a couple of times that I'm just paying to have a chat with a mate.
Yeah.
So I wasn't really benefiting from it, but it was just nice to have it there at the side anyway, just in case. But I mean, even she brought up saying that, do you know what, like, I think that you're coming to an end, so you want to start slowing it down, do it every couple of weeks, or phase it out, or do you want to just stop? So yeah, no, it's massively helped, and I'm happier than what I've ever been.
That's incredible.
Which is good. And like I say, I'm starting to slowly learn to love myself and like myself, which is good, positive.
Absolutely. And it's going to be continuous. I think that's the thing, you can take it in steps and start to feel, because we've known you for such a long time and believe how valuable you are as a person. I know for me in my life and stuff as well, you've been an absolute rock, and we're going to be friends forever, for sure. And the same way that you lift me up, we want to be able to do the same thing to you, because things like this, being able to speak about how you feel, actually share your message, is so important for everybody. So
thank you.
I want to tell you that I love you, Jordan.
Oh, I love you too, Jordan. Thank you very much for coming on, Jordan. That's an amazing story to tell.
No worries.
You alright?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah? He was so nervous. Do you know Chris came up to me last night?
Chris talks shit when
he was like, he's so nervous. I'm
like, shit all the time.
Yeah. We've not even discussed it with Chris. He just asked me the day before yesterday. He's like, you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm a bit nervous, but I'm alright. That's literally the only conversation.
He's like that. No actual conversation.
Oh my God, you made such a big deal of it with me last night.
He does it for himself, isn't it?
He wants to make himself look good.
Yeah.
Like he's a really good, caring boyfriend.
What a guy.
Yeah. So, just to be aware, so within the UK we said as well, there's a hashtag called It's Not Okay, and you can sort of join a conversation within this country. It's not a worldwide one, where you can sort of share your stories and actually share your experiences as well. And the idea, I believe, is that actually more people will do the same thing. It's okay to talk about how you feel, but also people will really benefit from that. So, yeah.
There's also a charity called the Survivors Trust. I've never actually used it myself, because I only found out about them afterwards. But they do a lot of great work, and kind of follow them on Facebook. But they are there for counselling and for reaching out. That if you're in need of support or you need advice and recommendation and so on as well. Yeah,
there's loads of support lines out there. So there's like victims of sexual assault, safeline.org.uk, hestia.org, Survivors UK, which is male abuse, maybe, and then domestic abuse as well, and domesticabuse.org. So loads of support channels out there. So yeah.
Was there anything else you wanted to mention, Jordan, about this?
No, I'm good.
Excellent.
Just if it has happened to you, or you've kind of know someone who's experienced it, or so on, just know that there are people out there who will support you, and it doesn't help by just living with it and keeping it into yourself. Reach out, and you will find that there's support there.
Interesting, you said I've not seen the Michael Jackson documentary, but how that resonated with you. The R. Kelly one's on Netflix at the minute. Have you guys watched that?
Yes.
Oh
God, that's tough.
I've not watched it.
Oh, you need to, boy.
I watched that a couple of years ago. That was...
Yeah, you told me that, and I was like...
Wow. Oh, is that R. Kelly one not new?
No.
I thought... This must have just been new on Netflix then.
Yeah. Because
right.
I watched it on some illegal...
Oh.
She was like, yeah, you told me.
That one was crazy.
Oh my God.
there's like one part in there. Right? So I remember being at school as well. I mean, I'm 38 nearly now, and
What?
so
Stop
when I was
it.
at school, I know. Right? Fine wine. The I remember being at school when there was a video come out that is leaked online of R. Kelly pissing on a 13-year-old girl.
Yeah.
Okay, so that went to so that video went to court. It is obvious it was him. So we went to the police, and it's obvious it was him, but nothing is done. So he got questioned over it, and he said, "Oh, I mean, it's not me. Maybe it could be my brother. I mean." But his brothers are in the documentary. They look nothing alike.
No.
It was obvious it was him, but because of the profile and because of the person he was,
Yeah.
it was just overlooked. It's just madness.
It's mad.
crazy.
So I'm glad that these things are happening because it's showing and it's proving out there to people that actually, no matter who you are, you're going to get brought down.
Yeah.
And world's changing.
100%.
And you know what's mad? If you watch that documentary, and I can't remember the name of the song now that I'm just thinking about it, but he made a song.
Oh, with the Leo one.
Yeah, well, age ain't
Age
nothing but a
Nothing But a
number.
Number.
Yeah, and then like if you see it, like,
Age ain't nothing but a number.
Yeah, it's her song, but he produced it, and he
wrote
also and he's just like, and he wrote a song where he's just basically saying what he's doing to people in music that's selling, and everyone's just being overlooking it. It's mad. No, but
Fucking hell.
yeah, he's blatantly saying it, so it's crazy. So there are things out there.
Mm.
That it's really, I've not watched Finding Neverland though. That's the only one I haven't watched. Well, it's only 2 episodes, isn't it?
It is. It's their
Is it Finding Neverland? Is that what it's called?
Finding Neverland. Yeah.
I thought it was a film.
No,
Is it Surviving? Finding Neverland.
Wow.
Surviving Neverland.
it's
Maybe
got Neverland in it.
Surviving
Maybe
Neverland. Surviving
Finding Neverland.
I thought Finding Neverland was a Kate Winslet film.
I have no idea.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Yeah. Johnny Depp.
Oh no, not Finding Neverland. Finding Neverland's Peter Pan, no?
Yeah, so the Kate Winslet film is it's focused on the guy who wrote Peter Pan.
I have no idea what it's called. It's one of Michael Jackson one, isn't it?
The other good film is Bombshell. I went to watch Bombshell at the cinema the other week. Did I tell you this?
Is this related in any way, shape, or form?
Bombshell covers Roger Ailes, who was he used to be head up Fox News, and he used to bring in and sexually assault women.
Okay.
Like Megyn Kelly.
Oh, yeah.
all that big thing. So it was part of the Me Too movement. That's a fucking brilliant film. Who's in it? Nicole Kidman's in it.
Margot Robbie.
Margot Robbie, Charlize Theron.
Yeah.
What do you call that guy? Plays, I can't remember his name, but he's in it. It's a good film.
Excellent. Well, from that, should we go on to some agony ashes?
Ooh, yeah.
So as we know, each week we try and get people to tell us, ask us for our wonderful advice, because we are great at giving unwarranted advice. And we thought Jordan could help us today as well.
Yeah, I need to find this one.
My advice is great.
Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. I was saying, like, I've been having some troubles recently, especially this month. January has not been the kindest to me. And you've been very, very good, actually, I will say that, about how I should sort of deal with, like, my situations. But then sometimes you come up with some bangers, I'm like, I don't think you've got the point. Fully.
Do you know what? There's one of those things when you're messaging on WhatsApp as well, rather than having a conversation.
Yeah.
It's hard to gauge kind of like what you're both.
Do you want a pragmatic approach? Do you want an emotional listening or something? Yeah.
Yeah. Or and also you can take things the wrong way when you're reading them, rather than and you can't gauge the reaction.
Yeah. No, I think that's fair.
Sometimes, when you, I always remember arguing with my ex that I don't want your opinion. I just want you to agree with my opinion back with me, please. Sometimes that's what you want. Like, you don't want somebody to say, actually, you're wrong. Or actually, you want somebody to just be like, yeah, you're right. Go for it.
Can you believe what Brenda did? Kind of thing. You know what I mean? Oh my God. That sort of thing.
Yeah. What a bitch.
No.
Literally, just had like pointless agreeing. And... Right, okay. This one's called, this is from a user called Adam Gregg. It's called Dog Dilemma.
Are you going to read this one?
I'll read it out.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I've read it already. So basically, Matt doesn't know what they are until... You don't like to know, do you?
No, I don't like to know until the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So...
But I also know how you are with reading.
Oh, I'm terrible. Okay, yeah, okay. Well, I didn't realise what you're getting at.
That's what I was getting at.
Alright, I'll let you read them.
Okay.
Oh, fucking hell.
No, you can. Okay. So, I've got a dog dilemma. Hey guys, love the show. Been playing catch up while you are on holiday. Anyways, I have a question. My boyfriend has a dog with his ex. We've been together for 1 year. They were together for 5 years, and the two treat the dog as a child. Shared custody sort of thing. Now, I like dogs, but it's just crazy that they go to the vets together, the dog park, etc. He even still has a key to the house so he can check on the dog when my boyfriend is away. I feel this is too much. What do you guys think? This is a great one. Okay. Do you want to start, Jordan? Do you have an idea?
Do you like dogs?
I do like dogs. I don't think you can do anything about that. It's your their priority, and like he said, like they treat their dog it's like it's their child. So you're gonna try and fight against the dog and try and get rid of the ex. But they've got a relationship. They've obviously got a good relationship. I think give it a little bit more time, and you'll have a bit more trust.
I disagree.
Yes.
Because that relationship was already there. You can't just wipe that relationship out or the past out. Like,
no, but I think in my head,
Great start.
First of all, if they shouldn't have a key to the house, I don't think that's right. I think if the boyfriend's away, let them take the dog back to theirs.
If the house that he lives in with the dog,
Yeah,
they used to live in together, would that be different? For him to still have a key?
that's weird. I think.
I don't think it's weird. Like we was having discussion with Matt's ex the other day, and
Which one?
they were talking about Ashley only has one.
I have two exes. Three. Two.
And they were talking about literally moving in together again, but living in separate rooms.
Who you and no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
And it's kind of.
I just realised.
Me and Adam.
I realised which ex.
Definitely.
Oh.
No, I can say because he listens.
I was like, really?
He's like one of our biggest listeners.
He is. He loves it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Michael.
Do you know what? I've actually got really random. We got a new colleague. Well, it's not new actually. He's based in Ireland. He came over for Top Performers Day, which I was also at. And he was and we linked up on Instagram, but the only mutual friend was Michael Duffel. But then they got in contact last time he was here, and they were supposed to meet up and go for a date.
Ooh, was he fit?
He really was. Well, he is even.
Well, Michael's looking good.
He is looking better.
Anyway, let's go to the point.
What's your opinion, on the dogs?
Well, you didn't really finish yours, did you?
Why?
You think so? Because you said it is weird, but what can you do about it? Is then something? What can or should he do about it?
I think you need to say to your. I think you need to say to your partner, to say, "Hey, I find it a bit weird that your ex has a key to your house." I don't know. I like dogs, but I like them to an extent. I don't buy into this treat your dog like a kid.
That's bullshit, because the minute them went away and you went on your Instagram looking after that dog, you were like, oh, my baby, I love them. That's absolute bullshit.
No.
And we literally joked about that the day before.
Oh, we did, yeah. No, but I don't treat, like, dogs are good for snuggles, like, and I enjoy taking them for walks, but I'm not going to, it's not a kid.
People are mad crazy about the dogs.
People are, especially gays. Gays go crazy for the dogs.
So I obviously agree with Jordan and not you.
Of course.
Because that is, people care for their dogs.
You can't just wipe someone's history.
5 years they were together for.
Yeah, you can't wipe someone's history.
I would be put out by the key, but I wouldn't do anything about it. There's nothing you can do.
And I'm not saying...
They take their dog for walks together and they go to the vet together.
But they're probably just friends still.
Because that must stem from jealousy. He's not said it.
Yeah,
but the reason why you'd say it is because you're jealous.
Yeah.
Or worried that something's going to happen between them, which then you have to deal with your own jealousy in that situation. Surely.
I think, again, maybe I don't understand the mentality, but I don't understand why it takes two people to take a dog to the vet.
But my thing is, he can't do anything about this, though. Even if he is worried, there's nothing he can do except say how he feels to his current boyfriend without any expectation that things will change. That's what I would say.
I'm also not saying, like, you need to give your boyfriend an ultimatum. Like, obviously not.
You're not allowed to go to the vet together.
Yeah.
Well, this is the thing. It's not going to be resolved. So, I mean, I'm a big believer in being open and being honest. And if you're unhappy about something, then you should talk it through.
Yeah.
But nothing would actually happen from that.
Maybe the boyfriend doesn't know. Maybe it is a case of, like, well, actually, why doesn't the dog just go around to the exes when I'm away?
But he's away, because I want to know if he looks after the dog while he's away.
Or is he in a flat?
He should knock on the door. No, he should have a key. He needs to look after his dog.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I think
it
he needs
depends
to...
on the living side of things for the boyfriend that doesn't live there. Sorry, the ex-boyfriend. Because if he's in like a one-bedroom flat and he has no garden, like, dogs can't go and stay with him.
That's true.
So he might be living in a house and actually he's got a garden to run around in.
It is awkward, that he comes in. I will say that. But he should tell his boyfriend how he feels. It's important to be open, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
And say it. He may do something about it. He may not. He might just say, do you know what? Maybe I'll be a little bit more considerate in future if he wanted to. This is the boyfriend. But to be honest, the only thing he can do is say how he feels. But I don't think he should expect any changes in the behaviour.
Communication is key.
See, pearls of wisdom.
I'm not cliches. But yes, Ashley's wrong.
Not wrong.
As usual.
1-0, shall we say?
Stop
if
it.
we're keeping score.
Stop it. And we had this other one come through just from the Instagram story. People who smoke beside you on the beach. What's your opinion on
I
that?
don't like people that do it.
Yeah, but that literally went up in that story, and they said people who smoke beside you on the beach. I mean, I don't like smokers anyway. I don't like people puffing smoking, but you can't really.
Well, one of our listeners had said he went on a date with this guy and he really liked him, but he smokes, so he can't see him.
But some people despise it.
I can't stand it.
My brother literally lives in Brighton. I obviously live in London. And if I'm ever smoking while I'm talking to him on the phone, he hangs up the phone on me.
On the phone?
He hates smoking that bad.
I could tell my mum smoked on the phone, and it drove me insane.
Why?
But I just because I could hear and I can see her do it. Like it was an automatic. I'm on the phone, so I'll just spark up. I'm like, you don't actually have to smoke, Mum. You could just. I mean, it's probably my biggest turn off. I'm sorry, Jordan.
No, it's fine. I don't always smoke.
Would you would not see someone if they were smoking?
No, if I find out somebody was, depends how banging hot.
Obviously.
But if somebody smoked, I'd be like, no, I'm sorry.
If someone was smoking next to me on the beach, there's nothing you could say or do.
No.
I'd say it's only marginally frustrating because for some reason, when I'm on the beach, I feel like I really want to smoke, even though I don't.
That's after you see me in Bali.
Everyone, they're just in Bali. We're sitting in the sunset, and then they're just smoking. And I'm like, all this moment needs is a cigarette because it's so chilled, so relaxed. No, well, a joint. That's what it needed, particularly.
Yeah. Cigar smoking is sexy though.
Cigar smoking is
It's
disgusting.
No.
Oh, God.
No, I love the smell of cigar smoke.
No, you're wrong, bro.
It's like Donald Trump sitting there with a cigar.
It's
in his mouth.
disgusting. It's so vile.
Oh no, it's so good.
Not at all. Oh, sexy.
But I do feel that you can tell someone.
In the public.
Absolutely, yeah. If
No.
you're sitting in a confined
you
space,
you've never smoked, have you?
I smoked,
But
not
you're
regularly.
Not like,
yeah.
So would you mind if somebody came up and said, "Oh, do you mind not smoking?"
no, I'd be fine with it.
You've always been quite conscientious, though. To be fair.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
Like, if I wouldn't, if I'm in the beach or whatever area and there's quite a few people around,
Yeah.
I'll take myself away
You always
to
do.
a quiet place because
Yeah.
I don't want people don't need my smoke being blown over them, and also it's so unhealthy. Like, why does someone want to? And it's like you think someone like inhales smoke and then blows it out of their mouth after it's been inside of them. Like, why would you want that over you?
Yeah,
Like,
no.
it's harmful. Like,
I hate
it's a
it in the
harmful
street.
thing.
You know when you're walking behind someone and then just and you just like
Did you see the vapes though? It's
Everyone-
it's like whoa, it's like walking through a cloud.
The other day I was walking from work to the station, and this guy was stood outside the station, and he just like as soon as I walked around the corner, he blew like it was like fog. I was like, and he's like, sorry. I was like,
that's one thing I hate. I used to go to Tower Bridge, tube station, and basically like smokers will stop immediately outside the
oh
entrance
my god,
just to finish their cigarettes before they go in, right?
yeah.
But there's like 5 of them because it's the morning, and you basically walk in through what's like stars in their eyes, and you have to run through this like battle of all this smoke because these people are there on the sides, and I want to be like, all of you are terrible, because I have to walk through. There's no way of getting away from it. It's the only entrance. They're on both sides, and you have to gauntlet with smoke. What are you supposed to do?
Do you know the worst is when you're in Spain or somewhere where they still allow smoking in restaurants?
Oh,
That's
Oh,
vile.
oh my god! In the clubs
do you guys
and stuff.
remember when you used to be smoking bars? I mean, you're probably too young that.
No, it's when I started going out. But yes,
Okay.
yes, I do. You'd come home and your clothes stunk.
Damn.
Your hair had like this like
Yeah.
film or something.
But when they first stopped it though,
The smell.
absolutely stunk in clubs. It was sick.
Up sick and
Yeah. And like
bleach
BO and just
and
warm.
vomit, like-
I remember it mostly in like Walkabout. I went to a Walkabout in Shaftesbury Avenue, which was so good.
Oh, the one on the corner.
Yeah. And it was such a good night out. But I remember that first one, and I just felt my body was sweaty. Everything was disgusting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you definitely can tell someone because that person needs to be told. It's just very selfish.
I don't think I could do that. I don't think I could go.
I don't think I could go because I think you are quite conscientious anyway when you smoke. I always remember, like, even if you're smoking while watching rugby, you always sort of turn away or do small
You
things.
walk away. You tend to
Yeah.
walk away.
But you don't know how crazy that person back. I have the right to smoke. I can do whatever I
But you
want.
are in an open space. You know?
Yeah. what I think they should do is ban smoking publicly. They do in America. Then there's states in America you can't smoke outside.
I don't know.
Like, is that not?
I think that was just a myth.
Oh, was it?
I think so. Yeah.
Damn it, man!
No, you can't ban it, I guess, but
You can.
it is horrible.
It's disgusting.
I wouldn't go up to someone though and ask them. As frustrated as I get,
What was your agony situation,
I'm not doing that.
Jordan? What do you think of What do you think of people? You on Instagram, you have close friends on the stories, so you can upload stories to everyone, or upload stories to a segment of people of close friends, right?
Okay.
So people can add whoever they want as the close friends. Like I'm apparently loads of people's close friends I've never met. But what happens is people are using these close friends groups to post really thirsty pictures. So you're there like going to like my sister's story and then, whoever else, some hot CrossFitter I'm following, and all of a sudden it's some guy lying in a thong and I'm like, well, no. And it's not somebody, not somebody you find attractive and you didn't ask to be seeing those erotic pictures.
There's nothing really you can do about it, is there?
Well, I found, because you recently had this problem, Matt, didn't you?
No.
You are such. Anyway, the thing you can do.
It's 2 pods.
Yeah.
I just, I was like, what do I do? Because I didn't know you can mute stories. But yeah, if you're not close friends with someone, it's someone that you don't really know and stuff. And then they basically, most people do it so they can, post pictures of them basically naked.
And thirsty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was just a bit like, can you message someone and be like, please take me off your close friends list? Because I don't mind the rest of your Instagram. I just don't want to see that. But I didn't do anything. And then he showed me how to mute it. So I was like, okay. It's not a problem. But I thought it was a little bit rude to like add someone to your close friends list.
I think it's really rude.
Just so that they can like put their naked body there without asking. I don't know if you should ask, but like...
Well, so they purposely did that. They purposely added them to do that.
They would have gone out their way to add people to their close friends list, one of which was Ashley. And so
that's weird.
Yeah,
sorry,
because
I get it now. I get it. Sorry, so I don't really use Instagram that much.
Yeah,
okay, yeah.
But like if it's people like the rugby club, for example, if it's people I know, and I'm like, okay, fair enough. Like, at least I've seen you before in person.
Yeah,
maybe we don't see each other.
You probably still don't want to see them in thongs and erotic.
Depends on that.
But it makes sense.
True.
Yeah, it does depend.
True. Yeah.
But I don't mind. Well, yeah, because one of our friends does it, but he only does it about political posts and his close friends. I'm like, well, this is not interesting.
why aren't you topless?
I don't know.
No.
Anyway,
Yeah,
that wasn't my problem.
No, I thought it was.
No, it wasn't.
I must have misunderstood.
Yeah.
But you can just mute it.
I have done.
Yeah.
That's all done.
Cool. Well, did you have anything else?
No.
No? Jordan, do you have anything else to say?
No.
Thank you so much.
I was going to say thank you for having me on.
No, thank you for coming on.
No, thank you.
What a great...
I hope you enjoyed it. I feel like it was quite good.
No, I did actually. And I've been trying to get on here for a while because sometimes I just listen to you two chatting and I was just like, I just want to get involved because I'm like, no, you're both talking shit. I don't remember any episode to you both, and I'm just like, I just want to get involved in your conversation. It really frustrates me. I'm like, because I want to start arguing with you both. But,
So we said we might try and get like a little live one going where we can do it because it was like a radio or something.
Yeah, you'll have to listen to find out. But we said before we recorded, before you came in, that maybe we'll look at doing some live shows. So maybe if you want to come back and argue for us face to face again,
yeah, that'd be good
someday.
Oh, do you remember the one actually?
Here we go.
Was
I think we're running out of time now, Jordan. To be honest,
with Tyson Fury. When you were saying about him being a bad reputation, a bad person to have up representing men's mental health.
Yeah,
and I was in complete disagreement with it, and I was literally yelling at my phone.
At me, in my opinion.
I think that's you're both kind of agreeing quite a bit. So it wasn't just aimed just at you.
He goes out his way to like send me voice notes and like messages and stuff being like, "You're wrong, bitch," and I'm like, "This, sometimes it's weeks ago as well, isn't it?" So I'm like, "I don't even know what you're talking about."
People do it, don't they?
I have no idea what you're saying.
Like Mickey does it all the time. Mickey be like, "Oh, something you're wrong and they're this," and I'm like, "What?
What are you talking about?"
And he's like, "You said this in your podcast." I'm like, "Yeah, but 6 weeks ago, man. I can't remember it all."
Times have changed.
Yeah, I've grown.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, thank you very much for listening. That's our first episode done in the new season.
Yay.
So yeah, make sure you share. Go onto the website, download the little thing, share the stuff. Check out our Patreon. Donate if you want to. And have a great Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yes. Have a lovely week, John and Ashley.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You too.
Thanks. All right, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.